at this moment.
The 80s gave us some of rock's most electrifying frontmen. Names like Axl Rose, David Lee Roth, and John Bon Jovi became household legends. But for every star that burned bright and stayed in the spotlight, there were others who blazed just as intensely before disappearing completely. Tonight, we're diving into the stories of 10 forgotten 80s rock frontmen. Who had everything it took to be massive. The voice, the stage presence, the songs, but vanished without a trace. Number 10. This Philadelphia rocker wrote one of the most infectious power pop songs of the early 80s, a track that became a staple of new wave radio. His original version was completely different from the chart-topping remake that made someone else a superstar. Robert Hazard. Robert Hazard Band. Robert Hazard wrote Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. Yes, that one. But his original 1979 version was a completely different animal from Cyndi Lauper's chart-topping remake. Hazard's take was grittier, more rock-oriented, with a masculine edge that made it feel like an entirely different song. Born Robert Ramato in Philadelphia, Hazard fronted his own band through the early 80s, building a devoted following in the Northeast club circuit. His songwriting combined new wave sensibilities with classic rock power, and his live performances were electric. Part Bruce Springsteen working class hero, part Cars style cool.
Round and round.
The irony of Hazard's career is staggering. He wrote one of the decade's biggest hits, yet remained virtually unknown while Lauper became a superstar. Industry politics and bad timing kept his band from breaking through nationally, despite having the songs and the talent. After his brief moment in the spotlight, Hazard released music sporadically, but never regained mainstream attention. The man who penned one of the 80s most enduring anthems was overlooked, a cautionary tale about the music industry's cruel randomness. He passed away in 2008 from pancreatic cancer, leaving behind a legacy that lived on more through others' voices than his own. Number 9. This frontman led his band to one of the 80s most beloved anthems, a Celtic-tinged sing-along that still fills dance floors today. His passionate performances and working-class authenticity made him seem destined for lasting stardom. Kevin Rowland, Dexy's Midnight Runners. Kevin Rowland was one of the 80s most passionate and uncompromising frontmen, a man whose emotional intensity could fill any arena. With Dexy's Midnight Runners, he created Come On Eileen, one of the decade's most beloved anthems, showcasing his distinctive Celtic-Soul voice and the band's unique blend of folk and rock. Rowland's stage presence was magnetic and unpredictable, part working-class hero, part tortured artist. His voice could shift from tender vulnerability to soaring power, perfectly suited to Dexy's anthemic sound. The band achieved massive success in the early 80s with Come On Eileen, topping charts worldwide. However, Rowland's perfectionist tendencies and uncompromising artistic vision led to constant lineup changes and industry conflicts. After Dexy's commercial peak, he retreated from the spotlight, releasing sporadic solo work that never matched his earlier success. The man who created one of the 80s most joyful anthems became a reclusive figure. Number 8. This British vocalist with platinum blonde hair and theatrical stage presence fronted one of the most distinctive bands of the early 80s new wave scene. Their sophisticated pop rock seemed destined for massive success. Limahl, Kajagoogoo. Christopher Hamill, known professionally as Limahl, was the face of one of the 80s standout bands. With his platinum blonde hair and theatrical stage presence, he fronted Kajagoogoo during their brief but memorable moment in the spotlight. Too Shy became a massive international hit in 1983, showcasing the band's sophisticated new wave sound and Limahl's distinctive vocals. His voice was perfectly suited to the era's synthesizer-driven pop, and his visual style epitomized 80s excess and glamour. Kajagoogoo seemed positioned for long-term success. They had the look, the sound, and the hit single that defined new wave's commercial peak. Limahl's stage presence was magnetic, combining pop star charisma with genuine vocal ability. However, after mid-80s success, Limahl disappeared from the public eye almost entirely. He became a mysterious figure outside 80s nostalgia circles, a perfect example of a frontman who vanished without a trace. Despite having all the right elements, his career was derailed by timing and industry politics. Number 7. A British singer with movie star looks and a voice that could handle both tender ballads and driving rockers led his cult band to underground fame. Their timeless hit still gets radio play today. Peter Parrott, The Only Ones. Peter Parrott was the epitome of punk elegance. Sharp cheekbones, piercing eyes, and a voice that dripped with both vulnerability and menace. The Only Ones, Another Girl, Another Planet, remains one of the greatest power pop songs ever recorded. A perfect marriage of punk energy and melodic sophistication. Formed in London in 1976, The Only Ones occupied a unique space between punk's raw energy and new wave's accessibility. Parrott's songwriting was deeply personal, often exploring themes of love, loss, and addiction, with a poet's sensitivity and a rocker's directness. The band's self-titled debut album in 1978 was critically acclaimed, and Another Girl, Another Planet became a cult classic.
You get under my skin, I don't find it irritating.
They seemed positioned to become major players in the post-punk landscape, with Parrott's charismatic stage presence and the band's tight musicianship. However, Parrott struggled with addiction and personal issues, disappearing from music for decades, before resurfacing briefly in the 2000s. His moment had long passed, leaving behind only the memory of what could have been. Number 6. This Manchester innovator co-founded one of punk's most influential bands before forming his own post-punk group. After early success, he simply vanished from the music scene entirely. Howard Devoto, Magazine. Howard Devoto was a true pioneer of British punk and post-punk. As co-founder of Buzzcocks, he helped shape the sound that would define a generation. But it was with Magazine that he truly found his voice, creating some of the most innovative music of the early 80s. Devoto's vocal style was unique, intellectual yet passionate, detached yet deeply emotional. Magazine's sound was sophisticated and experimental, blending punk energy with art rock sensibilities. Songs like Shot by Both Sides showcased his ability to create both catchy hooks and complex musical arrangements. Magazine achieved critical acclaim and a devoted following throughout their brief existence. Devoto's stage presence was commanding, but understated. He let the music speak for itself while delivering vocals that were both cerebral and visceral. After Magazine dissolved in 1981, Devoto vanished entirely from the music scene. He rarely performed or gave interviews, leaving fans with only memories of his early work. The man who helped define post-punk became a ghost, remembered only by those who witnessed his brief but brilliant career. Number 5. A female powerhouse broke through the male-dominated shock rock scene with explosive performances and a voice that could shatter glass. Her theatrical stage shows pushed every boundary imaginable. Wendy O. Williams, Plasmatics.
Straight's got a certain posture about them.
Wendy O. Williams was the most dangerous woman in rock and roll. With her mohawk, minimal stage attire, and willingness to destroy everything in sight, she brought a level of chaos and sexuality to rock that made even the most outrageous male performers look tame. The Plasmatics weren't just a band, they were a demolition crew. Williams would chainsaw guitars in half, blow up cars on stage, and perform in outfits that consisted of little more than electrical tape and attitude. Her voice was a powerful instrument, capable of both melodic singing and primal screaming. Formed in New York in 1977, the Plasmatics quickly became notorious for their destructive live shows. Williams' stage presence was magnetic and terrifying. She commanded attention through sheer force of personality and willingness to push every boundary. Following the Plasmatics' decline in the late 80s, Williams withdrew almost completely from public life. She returned only sporadically until her untimely death in 1998. Leaving behind a legacy of uncompromising artistry and the memory of rock's most fearless performer. Number 4. This New York punk innovator influenced not just music, but fashion and the entire downtown scene. His spiky hair and torn clothes became the template for punk style worldwide. Richard Hell. Richard Hell and the Voidoids. Richard Hell was punk's poet laureate, a man who helped define both the sound and the look of New York's underground scene. His spiky hair, torn clothes, and safety pins became the template for punk fashion worldwide, influencing everyone from the Sex Pistols to countless bands that followed. Hell's voice was distinctive, part Bob Dylan sneer, part street corner philosopher. With the Voidoids, he created some of punk's most intelligent and emotionally complex music. Songs like Blank Generation captured the alienation and energy of late 70s New York with remarkable precision. The Voidoids' 1977 debut album was critically acclaimed and influential, helping establish the template for American punk rock. Hell's songwriting was sophisticated, yet raw, combining literary sensibilities with three-chord power that defined the genre. After early 80s releases, Hell abandoned music completely to focus on writing and art. He faded from public attention, becoming a true case of a frontman who disappeared. The man who helped create punk's visual language became a footnote in its history. Number 3. This New York synth-punk frontman created some of the most confrontational and innovative music of the early 80s. His cult following shaped underground music for decades. Alan Vega, Suicide. Alan Vega was one of punk's most uncompromising artists, a man who pushed electronic music into territories that most musicians wouldn't dare explore. As half of the duo Suicide, he created some of the most confrontational and innovative music of the late 70s and early 80s. Suicide's sound was unlike anything else. Primitive drum machines, distorted synthesizers, and Vega's howling vocals created a sonic assault that was both terrifying and hypnotic. Their live performances were legendary for their intensity and the violent reactions they often provoked from audiences. Vega's stage presence was magnetic and dangerous. He would prowl the stage like a caged animal, his voice shifting from whispered threats to primal screams. His influence on electronic music and industrial rock was enormous, inspiring everyone from Depeche Mode to Nine Inch Nails. After the 80s, Vega focused on visual art and a low-profile solo career. He rarely performed or appeared in mainstream media, cementing his vanished status. When he died in 2016, the music world lost a truly singular artistic force, a visionary who defied convention at every turn. Number 2. This Los Angeles glam punk frontman rode the Sunset Strip scene with minor hits and major attitude. His band's sound bridged the gap between punk and metal. Lizzie Gray, London Spiders. Lindsey Gray was a fixture of Los Angeles' early 80s rock scene, a glam punk frontman who embodied the Sunset Strip's dangerous glamour. He co-founded London, a band that gained underground notoriety with songs bridging punk's raw energy and metal's power, and later led Spiders, a short-lived project that continued his hard rock experimentation.
Like a bad disease, we're doing time unemployment line.
Gray's stage presence was pure rock and roll theater, part David Bowie glam, part Iggy Pop danger. His voice was perfectly suited to the era's hard rock sound, and his songwriting captured the decadent spirit of early 80s Los Angeles. However, after his brief mainstream career, Gray faded from the spotlight and into obscurity. He became a cult figure whose legacy survives, mainly in underground circles, remembered by those who witnessed Los Angeles rock's formative days. Number 1. This British art pop frontman achieved massive early 80s success with hits that define the era. Then he did something unthinkable. He walked away from it all. Mark Hollis, Talk Talk. Mark Hollis was the voice behind some of the 80s most memorable hits. Talk Talk's It's My Life became an anthem for a generation, showcasing Hollis's distinctive vocals and the band's sophisticated pop sensibilities. Talk Talk evolved from synth-pop pioneers to art rock innovators, with Hollis leading their transformation into increasingly experimental territory. Albums like Spirit of Eden from 1988 and Laughingstock from 1991 pushed the boundaries of what popular music could be. Creating atmospheric soundscapes that influenced countless artists. Hollis's voice was remarkably versatile, capable of delivering radio-friendly hooks or ethereal whispers that seemed to float above the band's intricate arrangements. His songwriting grew increasingly sophisticated as the band evolved, moving from pop perfection to daring artistic exploration. After Talk Talk disbanded, Hollis briefly resurfaced with a sparse, self-titled solo album in 1998, but soon withdrew entirely from music. He avoided interviews, never toured again, and became almost mythical in his absence. When Hollis passed away in 2019, it closed the book on one of rock's most enigmatic careers. His silence in later life became as much a part of his legacy as the music itself. A haunting reminder that sometimes the loudest statement a frontman can make is simply to walk away. These 10 frontmen possess the voice, the presence, and the songs to become legends, yet chose different paths or fell victim to circumstances beyond their control. What other forgotten frontmen deserve recognition? Drop your picks below.